Okay, Parshat Vayakhel, page 516. Right? Normally, this is a double parsha. We read Vayakhel together with Pekudei. This year, we're only reading it by itself. Why is that? It's a leap year. We have an extra month of Adar, right? So the Torah, our Torah, we complete it every year on Simchat Torah, right? The holiday at the end of at the end of Sukkot, right? But there are lots of variables that go that need to be factored in. Sometimes we have 1 month of Adar. Sometimes we have 2 months of Adar. That's one factor. Are the holidays falling out on Shabbat? In which case, sometimes two Shabbases are dedicated to the holiday reading as opposed to our normal reading. Is Shavuot on Shabbos or is it in the middle of the week? Is Rosh Hashanah on Shabbos in the middle of the week? Is Yom Kippur on Shabbos in the middle of the week? All of that affects our regular Torah reading, or do we have a special Torah reading and fall behind a week? Right? So therefore, we have to have this accordion, so to speak, that sometimes we can expand it, and other times we will contract it. Actually, we are already now. No, not already now. Comes Pesach time, we will be reading a different Parsha each week than in Israel. We're going to be a week off. Right? Pesach starts on Shabbos this year. So that first Shabbos, we're all reading the Pesach reading, not Shabbos reading. In Israel, Pesach lasts for 7 days. So therefore, it ends on Friday. And the next Shabbos is Shabbos. They'll read a regular weekly Parsha reading. For us, we have 8 days of Pesach. So for us, the next Shabbos is still Pesach. We're still reading the special Pesach reading. We're not going to get back to our regular Parsha until the next week. So we're going to be a week behind for many months until we get to the middle of the summer. Yes?
I'm just curious, if someone comes from Israel and visits, what custom do they follow?
So they have no choice. When in Rome?
Okay.
Yeah, they have no choice. And Torah reading is more of a communal responsibility than a particular individual responsibility. Okay,
so how many parashas are altogether?
I think 52.
Oh, really?
I think there are 52.
For a normal year, it's...
Well, that's how many parshot there are. Very often we double up. Right? There are certain parshot which get doubled up. Right? There are specific ones which we double up. Vayakhel Pekudei is normally getting doubled up. Vayakhel, so page 516. Let's lead off. Leah bechavod.
ויחל משה את כל עדת בני ישראל, ויאמר אליהם, אלה הדברים אשר ציווה השם לעשות אותם. 6 ימים תעשה מלאכה, וביום השביעי יהיה לכם קודש, שבת שבתון להשם, כל העושה בו מלאכה דומה. לא תבערו אש בכל מושבותכם ביום השבת.
Okay. So the first 3 psukim deal with Shabbat. Someone first in English, please. Shelley, you want to take that for us?
Number 1?
Number 1.
Okay. Moses assembled the entire assembly of the children of Israel and said to them, these are the things that Hashem commanded to do them. On 6 days work may be done, but the 7th day shall be holy for you, a day of complete rest for Hashem. Whoever does work on it shall be put to death. You shall not kindle fire in any of your dwellings on the Sabbath day.
So just one second, let's just pause for a second. I want to learn, my niece is having some medical issues, so let's learn for a refuah shalema for Malka Sarah Bas Leah. That the merit of our studying should serve her well. Okay, so we're starting off with Shabbat, and then we go right into the next verses. Vayomer Moshe called up in Israel lemor, Zeh hadavar shetziva Hashem lemor. This is what God has commanded, saying, Kechu me'itchem truma laHashem. Take from amongst you a truma, donations to Hashem. Kol nediv libo yiviyeh, all those whose hearts are motivated good will bring this trumat Hashem, and then we start listing all the items. So we had back in Parshat Truma, we had Hashem commanding Moshe about the collection and the construction of the Mishkan. The Mishkan was the tabernacle. Here we have Moshe actually putting it in play. Now, whenever we mention the Mishkan, we also mention Shabbat. Over there, here Moshe speaking, he mentioned Shabbat and then the Mishkan. Back in Truma, when Hashem is speaking, we first mention the Mishkan and then we mention Shabbat. So before we get to the order of things, what is the Mishkan Shabbat connection? Cheryl.
I think it's the work done to create the Mishkan.
Okay. So on one hand, what Cheryl is saying is correct. The Torah says don't do milacha on Shabbat. How do we define milacha? Someone take the bait.
The malacha that you can't do.
Right. So malacha does not mean
39.
work. Okay? Because as we mentioned before, it's not a lot of work to hit a light switch. Right? There's not work involved in that. Right? Malacha is the human mastery over the world using our intelligence for constructive purposes. Human mastery over the world using our intelligence for constructive purposes. That is milacha that we are not allowed to do on Shabbos. And we have a listing of 39 of those. Where do we get those 39 from? Those are the acts, the creative acts that went into the building of the Mishkan. And it's those acts of creative activity, human mastery, that we abstain from on Shabbat. So on one level, Cheryl, that's correct. The Mishkan Shabbat connection is we learn what it is that we can't do on Shabbat from the Mishkan. Good. Ilana.
So, like,
morning.
let's say you're in school or
Good morning, Eileen. Good to see you.
Thank you, Rabbi Singer.
Let's say you're in school, and you're not allowed then to read something secular, let's say, and learn from that, or forget about even being in school, like Time Magazine or something. If you're reading that and learning from that.
Reading is not creating.
Correct. Reading is not creating. Okay? Now, let's take it perhaps a step deeper. What is Shabbos doing and what is Mishkan doing? And what would the connection be between Shabbos and Mishkan? The tabernacle and Shabbos.
Holiness?
I'm sorry?
Holiness?
Good. What type of holiness? The Mishkan is what type of holiness?
Connecting with Hashem.
Yes. But what in what realm?
Physical one?
A physical realm, space. Right? The Mishkan is a place where we connect to God. What place is where the temple was built, which is where the Mishkan was ultimately settled and became the Beit HaMikdash? What place is that? What happened in that place? What is unique about that place?
The Akedah.
The Akedah. Right? The Akedah. Right? The binding of Isaac took place over there. Right? I believe you say that Noach brought, Noach, they brought their sacrifices there. Dov.
I think Hashem started creating the world. Yeah.
Okay, so it's interesting. The dome of the rock, right, is built over that what we call the Even Shatia, the foundation stone. Right? Yes, Cheryl.
Also, that was where Yaakov had the dream with the ladder.
Good. The dream of the ladder, if that's where it was, or it was over that point. So what was the dream of, let's take that, good. What was the dream of the ladder? Connection of heaven and earth. The place where heaven and earth meet. Okay? That is what the Mishkan is. The Mishkan is holiness of place. That is in the realm of space. That's a place where we have this direct line, this direct pipeline to God, where heaven and earth meet. Why is it that we all face towards Yerushalayim? We all face, and in Yerushalayim you face towards the Beit HaMikdash. And the Beit HaMikdash you face towards the Kodesh Kadashim, the Holy of Holies. That is the place that Shlomo, King Solomon, when he built the Beit HaMikdash, he said, all the prayers will go up from there. That is the flashpoint of heaven and earth. So Mishkan is the holiness of place. What is Shabbos?
Time.
The holiness of time. Right? In the realm of time, that is that holiness. That is that special time. Well, in what way is Mishkan holiness of place? What does it afford us? What does it allow us?
Atone. You can atone.
Besides atonement.
Okay.
Holiness of a closeness, a way to come in contact with God's presence. Shabbos is that very same opportunity to come in contact with Hashem's presence. How does that relate to melacha? Again, melacha we defined as human mastery over the world, using our intelligence for constructive purposes. Let's look back at this pasuk for a minute over here. Sheshet yamim te'aseh melacha. 6 days. What is te'aseh melacha? Right. Your melacha will be done. What should it have said? We would have imagined? Ta'aseh. I think you actually read it as ta'aseh. Right? Ta'aseh means you shall do melacha. Te'aseh is more passive. It shall be done. So why would we phrase do melacha in a way that it seems to say it shall be done?
It should become second nature. I don't know.
I'm sorry?
So it should become second nature.
Okay. Second nature. So what about it might be second nature? That we want to be doing. We want to be creating. I was thinking a little different. Te'aseh melacha is with all of our efforts, we have to realize that we can make all the effort in the world, but the success, that we don't control. Right? So with all that we do, te'aseh melacha, realize that our work is being done, that we're getting that divine help in order to succeed. But we are meant to be actively engaged in this world, doing. But when it comes to Shabbat, so why do we stop? Doing is a good, positive thing. Why shouldn't we be creative? Why shouldn't we use our human mastery over the world for constructive, intelligent purposes?
We're supposed to be working on our soul, not
Spirituality.
Okay. Working on our soul, what did you say?
Well, they're still on the same line. It's the day of God, they
Okay. Okay. Right? You know,
I did say bigotry.
to do. You're always doing. If a cell is always reproducing, what do we call that?
Cancer.
Yeah. Right? Right? We need to be able to step back. Right? An artist just keeps painting. After a while, the whole canvas just falls to the ground from its weight. Right? You have to be able to step back, right, and appreciate, and then move on. Right? And we live in a world where you need to have more and more. And Shabbat says you have to step back. Right? You're in God's world. Right? Don't keep doing more and more. Take stock of what you have. Enjoy what you have. Family, community, friends. Just be. I remember we had a guest over for Shabbos. This is years ago. We were living in Israel. I was teaching at a boys' yeshiva there, and one of the boys, his sister, came for Shabbat. So we had her over for the Friday night meal. And we're talking, and talking about the family. So he said, oh, and what is there's an older brother. What does your older brother do? So she said, oh, he volunteers at an orphanage, and he also volunteers at a hospital, right? And my mind is thinking, gainfully unemployed. That's what I'm thinking, right? And then she goes on to say, and he's a very successful stockbroker. Wow. And I thought to myself, she's got it right. Right? What does one do? Right? The things that we do to earn money, sometimes that might be our passion. Right? Other times that might not be our passion. Right? There's what I do and there's who I am. Right? Now, again, the way I earn money might be my passion. I always consider myself to be very fortunate. Right? That this is the way I earn my salary, and I love doing what I'm doing. Right? That often that's the case, but that's not always the case. And many people would not want to be defined by what they do in order to earn their salary. Shabbos is a time that we step back from what we do, and we can focus on who we are, what we have. During the week, it's very much what we want. Shabbat is a time to focus on what we have. And that creates Kedushat Hazman. That creates time that has a certain holiness to it. Because it's not me wanting more and more, right? Adam, the mankind, is the same letters as ma'od. Much. Very. Right? We are by nature, we are trying to do more and more. And that has its spiritual reflection. Right? From a Torah point of view, our souls are sent down here to join a body for a certain period of time, so therefore we must utilize that time, and we must make sure that that time is ma'od, is best utilized. Right? I think of the parable, a person who wins some sort of lottery, whatever it is, and what he or she can do is to go into a department store, right, for 3 hours. Whatever the person carries out is theirs. Right? They don't walk into the store and say, let me see how comfortable this chair is. And let me try that mattress. Right? They work. So a person is meant to be ma'od, but unfortunately we can misguide that ma'od aspect and want to have more and more and more and more of this world. And this world is important. We're meant to appreciate this world and to utilize this world. But we also need the time to take stock of who we are, what we're about, what's important, what is eternal. And that is Shabbos. Shabbos is the Kedushat Hazman. It's the holiness of the time. It began, Vayakhel Moshe et kol adat b'nei Yisrael. Moshe gathered kol adat b'nei Yisrael. Right? The entire nation of b'nei Yisrael spoke to them about Shabbos, and then again, Pasuk Dalet, verse 4, V'yom Moshe el kol adat b'nei Yisrael. To the entire congregation of b'nei Yisrael. Why is it so important to have this kol adat b'nei Yisrael, the entire congregation? Why is that so crucially important over here? Good. Right? By Mount Sinai, we said, Vayichan Yisrael neged ahar. And Israel camped by the mountain. But it should have said, right, in English we don't hear the difference. Right? Camped could be he camped, or it could be they camped. But in Israel there's a difference. He camped, an individual is Vayichan. Plural, they is Vayachanu. So why does it say, and in the singular, and Israel in the singular camped by the mountain? So we say, Ki ish echad b'lev echad. With like one person, with one heart. There was this absolute unity, brotherhood, this camaraderie, this oneness that existed over there. And that's what enabled us to receive the Torah. Going into the Mishkan, I've mentioned before, Ramban says, is meant to be a mobile Har Sinai, a mobile Mount Sinai experience. Mount Sinai, we encountered God. The Mishkan allows us, again, to encounter God. In order for us to have that, what must we be? Kol adat b'nei Yisrael. We need to all have that unity, that oneness, that solidarity with one another. That we are all one group. Now, this Mishkan is all about bringing the heavens down to the earth. The very first pasuk. Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Hashem created the shamayim, the heavens, and the earth. Or we'll say the heavenly and the earthly. What is the purpose of man? What is mankind meant to do? To bring that down. To bring that heavenly down to the earth. Right? When I spoke Friday night, I spoke about the Israel sent this lunar, a moon, what do they call it? A ship, right? It's a module. I don't know exactly what.
Yeah.
A module, right? That's meant to land on the moon, right? But then I told a story about down over here what a person did to help out a competitor, right? And that, we can go up to the heavens, which is fantastic. It's an incredible accomplishment. Please God, it works out successfully. Right? The only other countries that have successfully landed anything on the moon are United States, the former Soviet Union, and China. Both of them done with the full government, finance, support, agencies, science agencies, space agencies. And then you have Israel, right? Space IL, right? A private company, right? Completely privately funded company.
But they got a lot of donations from American billionaires.
Yes, yes. Look, $100 million is going to take, for private companies, is going to take a lot of donations. Yes. But as people who wanted to increase the love of engineering, the interest of engineering in Israel, right? Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. But you could also have this heaven, great to go up to the heavens, but bring heaven down to earth, right? With the way that we act, the way that we behave. And that's what this Mishkan is all about. Let's see this pasuk, the pasuk Hey, if we can. Kechu me'itechem. In Hebrew, please, someone take it for us. Good. And then we start to list all of the items. Someone take it for us in English, please. Verse 5. Take from yourselves. Kathy, you got it?
Sure. Take from yourselves a portion for Hashem. Everyone whose heart motivates him shall bring it. As the gift for Hashem, gold, silver, copper, turquoise, purple, and scarlet wool, linen, goat hair, red-dyed ram skins,
Go all the way.
skins, acacia wood, oil for illumination, spices for the anointment oil, and the aromatic incense, shoham stones, and stones for the settings for the ephod and the breastplate. Okay, so in English, as so often happens, in English we don't hear the different nuance. But look at Pasuk Hey again in Hebrew. Kechu me'itechem. Take from yourselves truma, a portion la Hashem, for God. Kol nediv libo, all those whose heart motivates him. Yevieha should bring it. 8 trumat Hashem, as a gift for Hashem. Right? So in both cases it's truma, either truma la Hashem or trumat Hashem. There's a gift for God, or there's God's gift, so to speak. One, we speak about nediv libo, a person's heart is motivated. The other one is kechu me'itechem, take from yourselves. So there are always two attitudes that we find when it comes to giving. Some people give grudgingly, some people give happily. What is the mindset for these two different approaches? What are the mindsets that are at play? I'm giving grudgingly. Why am I giving grudgingly?
Coming from lack,
Yeah.
social pressure.
Yeah,
Because I have to.
because I have to. Why don't I want to? It's mine.
Selfish.
I worked for it. All right? And whatever I give you, I've got less. All right? So therefore it's coming out of my pocket. It's coming out of my skin. And a person who gives generously, what is the attitude behind that?
Love.
Love.
Love for the person I'm giving to, might be.
Givingness.
Wanting to give. Why do I want to give?
Appreciate what God's given you.
Appreciate what God has given me. Right? And understanding that God has given me more than I need. Actually, He's giving me, for whatever reason, some people are meant to get what they need through others, and some people have a bounty of what it is that they're supposed to have, more than they're supposed to have. So God has given me some of yours. Actually, 10% of what I've given, or of what I'm given, is not meant for me. Right? Like I have a rabbi's discretionary account. That's money that I use my discretion towards what good thing should it go for. Well, God has given me personally now, not the rabbi's discretionary account, me personally, He's given me 10% of whatever I've earned is really my discretionary account. Not my rabbi's discretionary, but my personal discretionary account. To use it for people, institutions, things that are in need. So, if someone comes to me with a good cause, I'm actually appreciative. Oh wow, that's the same way that someone comes to you, right, with a great investment opportunity, right? So, I should give you my money. Thank you for the good opportunity. This is a way for me to maximize the resources I have and to really gain by this. So when a person comes to me with a good tzedakah opportunity, I should be thrilled. This is a great opportunity. I have this money that's not mine, that I need to distribute. Thank you for giving me this great opportunity, this great location of where I can send it, how I can direct it. Thank you. Right? This is an opportunity for eternity. By giving $10, $100, $500, $1,000, whatever it is, and for that I'm getting eternity. Look how the psukim, how this verse 5, pasuk Hey, how it describes two different attitudes. Kichu me'itechem, take me'itechem from yourselves, truma, a gift, la Hashem. I'm taking me'itechem from yourselves, from that which is mine. And what am I doing? I'm giving it to who? To God. That is not a nediv libo. That is not a person whose heart is motivated. Kol nediv libo. Right? Whoever is a nediv libo, this offering heart, this motivated heart, yivieha, he will bring it. As opposed to which word did we use before? Take. I'm not taking from that which is mine, me'itechem. What am I doing? I'm bringing. I'm delivering. What am I delivering? Not a gift to Hashem. Trumat Hashem. God's gift. What do we mean God's gift? God's gift to me. What am I doing with that now? I'm delivering it. Right? I'm delivering it. I'm delivering God's gift. God's gift was given to me. I'm a delivery service. Right? I'm Uber tzedakah. That's all I do. Right? I deliver the tzedakah. God gave me His portion in order for me to do what? To deliver it. So what am I doing? I'm delivering. The same way that in my office, if I help someone out, they say, oh, thank you, Rabbi, I can't thank you enough. I say, listen, it's not my money. I'm simply delivering. Right? The thanks goes to those who contribute to the fund. Right? But, it's misplaced to feel this tremendous gratitude to me. I'm delivering. Yivieha, so too with our personal donations. Yivieha, they would bring 8 Trumat Hashem. This Truma, this gift of God. I'm delivering God's gifts. So it's incredible. We have kichu, take, as opposed to Yivieha, bring. We have me'itechem, from you, it's coming out of my skin, out of my pocket. We have nediv libo, the person who has that generous, that motivated heart. We have a truma la Hashem, I'm giving it to God, or I have the trumat Hashem, right? The offering of God, the gift of God. And then we go through all the different materials. Gold, silver, copper, turquoise, purple and scarlet wool, linen, goat hair, skins, wood, oil, spices. So we seem to be going down in value. And then what are the last things that are mentioned? Avnei shoham v'avnei miluim la'ephod v'lachoshen. The shoham stones and the setting stones for the ephod and the choshen. The ephod was this apron that the Kohen Gadol would wear, and it had these straps that came up onto his shoulders, and there were two stones that went into either shoulder over there, and then there was the breastplate, which had on it the 12 stones, one for each of the tribes. These were all precious gems. So the Or HaChaim famously asks, the order seems to be skewed over here. Gold, silver, copper, we're going down in value. And then the last thing mentioned is these gems, which are the most expensive. So why is the Torah writing it in this very strange order? He asks. And he gives two very, very powerful answers. It was the Nisiim, it was the leaders of each tribe who brought these gems. And he explains that what happened was, when it came time for donations, the leaders, who were the most powerful, probably the most wealthy, said, see what you need in the end, and we'll take care of it. God bless you. See what you need in the end, and we'll take care of it. Right? Which on one hand seems to be a fundraiser's dream. Right? You go to someone, how much you need to raise? You need to raise $100,000. Okay, come to me at the end, and we'll make sure that you're okay. Right? A fundraiser's dream. But there's something wrong here. There's something lacking over here. What's lacking over here?
They should have been first.
Okay. Meaning there needs to be, right? If I say that, then I'm taking into account the possibility that you'll raise all of the money, and what share will I have in it? No share. It shows a lack of, what's the term we just had in the previous pasuk?
Motivation.
Of nediv libo. There's a lack of energy, a lack of excitement, a lack of, I want to be part of this. So therefore the Or HaChaim says that, right, God doesn't need anything from us. God doesn't need anything from us. What's the only thing that we can actually give to God? Faith. Our want, our motivation. Right? How often as a parent do we have a situation where you need something to be done? The kid says, all right, I'll do it. Right? And what's our feeling? Forget it. I'd rather just do it myself than have it done grudgingly with a long face. Right? So God doesn't need anything. The only thing that we can give to Hashem is Liba Rahmana Bai, our heart. Right? That what we do it happily, thankfully. Right? Ideally, we hope that children or whoever it is, relationship, has the feeling of, you do so much for me. I am so happy to have the opportunity to do something for you. Right? Doesn't happen all that often. Right? But that's ideally how we are meant to be coming before Hashem. Right? An opportunity to do something for you? Wow. Wow. It was very interesting. Someone, there's a speaker, a well-known speaker, does excellent stuff, named Charlie Harari. So someone just sent me a video clip. He said he was, I don't know if he was or a friend of his told him, he was in a grocery store. And it was a kosher market. And there was a religious woman there with a cart filled with food, obviously a large family. And she's checking out. And she swipes her credit card. And the cashier says, "I'm sorry, it was declined." So the woman starts to turn colors, and she says, "Can you please put it onto my account?" And the cashier says, "I'm sorry, but the account is just too big. Right? I can't put it on the account." Right? And the woman is looking for a hole to crawl into. And she says, "Okay, should I leave my card here? Should I put everything back?" And the person behind her in line, right, just goes over just swipes his credit card and says, "Done." Right? And she starts to walk, thanks him, and she starts to walk out. The same person turns to the cashier and says, "What is her account? How much is on the account?" And it was a couple of $1,000. And he says, "Swipe it again." Now, he didn't know her. She didn't know him. This person then just bought whatever he was buying and walked out. No one knows. Right? Who knew what happened? The person who was behind that guy in line and the cashier. And that woman will find out next time she goes to the store and finds out that she owes nothing on her account at the store. When we do something not to get acclaim, not that people should say, "Oh, Rabbi Senior, none of that. Something that no one really knows. Sometimes we try to do something just me and God. Mano el Dio. That's it. Just me and God. No one else needs to know. That could be the greatest Kiddush Hashem. We think of sanctification with God's name is, everyone says, "Oh wow, that's a great thing, that's how religious people act." That's beautiful. It's like the greatest Kiddush Hashem could be, "Hashem, I care about you. And this is important to me. And I don't want anyone else to know about it. I don't want any acclaim. I don't want to tinge it with that. I just want to have my Nadiv lave. I want to do." The Nisim, according to this interpretation, the Nisim would do whatever needs to be done. All right, I'll do it. The most precious gems that were donated, in terms of their importance, in terms of their value, they just moved down to the very bottom of the list. It's the last thing that is mentioned. That's one approach that he has to. Another approach, well, where do we get all these things? Where do we get silver, gold, copper? Where do we get all this? We're in the desert.
Egypt.
Okay, we got it from Egypt. Okay, on our way out, and the spoils of when all their chariots and horses, which are decked out with all these things, when they sunk, when they ridiculously chased us, followed us into the split Yam, and then the waters came back, they washed up on shore, and we had quite the spoils we were able to take. But these precious gems, right? You don't put your diamonds onto your horse. You don't put your diamonds onto your chariots. So the sages say that the Gemara says that they were miraculous. They dropped down from the heavens.